Okay, for those of you who don't know, my name is Michael Forrest, and welcome to It's Quest Time. Now, before we get going, I'm going to ask if you can all stay off of the stage area here. This way, nobody blocks this big display behind me, and gives me a little bit of room to move around, do the whole hosting thing, right? Now, welcome to Quest Time. Quest Time is an event for Oculus Quest users, but if you're on the device, feel free to hang out. You may pick up some information that helps our growing Quest community. There's a lot of new Quest users arriving in Altspace each and every day. Now, before we get going, also, I can direct your attention to your menu wheel in your lower left there. You're going to notice at the very top is a microphone icon. When that microphone icon is clear, that means we can hear everything that's happening in your environment. But we've gone ahead, we've turned it to red, and this means you're muted. Now, when you're muted, that means if somebody comes into your space and says, hey, are you still on that thing? Feel free to answer them, because we're not going to hear that. Likewise, if you have a barking dog or something like that, you're not going to face social ruin back at the campfire by becoming known as the avatar that's suddenly started barking during its quest time, right? Now, just because you're muted doesn't mean you can't express yourself. You're going to notice there's a pink cheeked smiley face in your menu wheel, and you can and should use this. If you press on it, it's going to open up your emoji panel in front of you, and you're going to notice you have a wide variety of options with which to express yourself. Like if I share something really deep, really powerful and meaningful, it touches you down deep like that, starts to build up, you can just let it out, just like that, kind of show the love like that, right? Maybe I got some backup dancers backstage, and they come out and we break in the Express Sign the musical, right? And well, you're very impressed, and you can throw up the applause I live for. I take a moment to drink it all in because it feels good, right? Now, also, if you want to ask you guys a yes or no question, you can say yes by smiling like this. You can say no by frowning like this. Some people think this is booing. It's not. It's like, and these people usually come in late, come up to the stage, and just start going like this. And to me, that just means no. And I'm like, why are you saying no, man? I just don't understand. All right. Also, if I say something funny, you want to show me you're laughing, you can do the silly faced emoji. And then there's this. This is not how you ask a question. This is how you get my attention if something's gone horribly wrong. Like I'm sitting here and I'm, waving my hands around like this, and it looks like I'm saying something. And you're like, hey, it looks like that guy's talking, but no sound's coming out. That's a good time to use that. Or maybe one of my moderators, they just they decide they can't take it anymore, and they want to burn down the set. That actually has happened before. They do occasionally, things like that do happen, and it's good to let me know when the moderators are turning against me, because that's very unfortunate. You can press the X to close the emoji panel, and when you press the X, the emoji panel will close. It's a good idea to leave it open during events like this. It's a great way to give me feedback, but more importantly, it lets other people around you know what you're experiencing, right? So the person next to you starts going like this, that means they found something funny, and you may not agree. You may be like, that's not funny at all. I don't think that's funny at all. I'm gonna go stand over here now, and you can do that, because this is VR, right? Okay, now before we get going, while you got these panels open, let me get the idea of how to proceed. How many of you are on a quest right now? Show me some hearts, show me some love if you're on a quest. Let me see some hearts if you're on a quest. Okay, all right, good, that's a lot of you. Awesome, all right, good to know. All right, now, how many of you are thinking of getting a quest? You're not on a quest right now, but you're thinking about getting one. Anybody? Okay, cool. How many of you are new to Altspace? Your chance to welcome everybody to Altspace if you're new. Okay, oh, wow, okay, that's a few of you. Welcome to Altspace, that's cool. How many of you are recently got your quest? You're just starting out on the quest. Any new quest users? Okay, a few of you, all right, cool, that works. All right, cool, thank you for that, gives me some idea of how to adjust things. Okay, now when I was first waiting for my quest to arrive, I had been on an Oculus Go for a long time, so I've been in Altspace, but I basically had this one hand. Now I grew up in Brooklyn, so I'm used to expressing myself with two hands, but on an Oculus Go, you have only that one hand to express yourself. So I could not wait to get this left controller, right? I was so psyched for it. And while I was waiting for it, I took a good look at these buttons. You know what? These are a lot of buttons. This is a lot to get used to. And we're going to go over some of this today, but if you're already used to these controllers, don't worry about it. We're going to do it in some exercises that'll be fun for everybody while some of the newer users, kind of skill up, right? Now, that being said, there's some basic stuff that you guys already know, or you wouldn't be here right now. Like, the left thumbstick moves you around like this. The right thumbstick's going to turn you in these circles. And when you combine them, you can get these big, elaborate circles that make my presentation so much more dramatic. If everybody could do that, go in these big circles like this, and I look out in the audience, it looks like you guys are ballroom dancing. And I love seeing that. Let me take a look. Oh, wow, that looks cool. All right. Wow, yeah, it looks cool. I always say I wish you guys could see what I see when everybody's doing that, and now you can. We got a YouTube channel now. If you look up and you see Raven Eye floating in the air there, you can turn around, you can wave out to be like, hey, YouTube, how's it going? Right? We got Hierophant Purple over here, which isn't purple at all. It's white and blue. I don't get that. What else do we have? We got We got Artsy over here. We got Lauren helping us out today. We got Sean Connery. Nobody believes me when I say he comes to our events, but he does. We got Hunter. We got Timothy. We got Hummingbird. Thanks for joining us. We got Davo 76, and we got Jax. Right, so come on into Altspace. You're gonna love it. It's a good time in here. All right, now one of the things that we're gonna take a look at here is you've got this grab button right here on your right and your left controller. Right, this grab button is going to be how you interact with your environment. It's going to be how you grab basketballs. It's going to be how you grab the fireworks, and sparklers, and those bean bags and the campfire. Even this laser pointer, and you can switch items from like one hand to the other by squeezing that grip button. You can even like spin them around by changing the direction like that. The only time you need to be aware of how this is going to affect things differently is when you're in the world editor. If you're in the world beta program, what's going to happen is if you grab an object and then you go to turn to the right and moving your right thumbstick, that object's going to be bigger and you're going to get, whoa, what happened there? Why did it get so large? It's because when you grab things with the world editor, it changes the behavior of your right thumbstick, right? If you move the right thumbstick left or right, it's going to change the size or the scale of the object. If you move the thumbstick forward or back, it's going to push the object away from you, or it's going to pull it closer to you, right? Now, there's another thing you need to be aware of with regard to different behaviors that aren't like immediately obvious. On the left thumbstick here, what this does is this is going to help you adjust your vertical height. The first time I come into Altspace on a quest, I went to the campfire to check it out, and I was feeling like, I was feeling good. I felt like I was walking on air, and I glide in, and I look around, I notice everybody's shorter than me. I start to wonder why. What's going on? How did I get so tall anyway? And it's because I was floating like this high off the ground, right? If anybody's willing to change their vertical height for me, is anybody willing to like kind of stand up a little bit or kind of scooch down so we could show this off? Anybody? Oh, great, that's awesome. Higher from purple. Wow, you even adjusted the color. Cool. If you press down your left thumbstick, show everybody what happens. Press like down on it like it's a button. Your left thumbstick, just press down on it. Boom. Kind of snaps into place like that. So if you find that you feel like too tall or too short, you can adjust the vertical height by pressing down the left thumbstick, and you'll like snap right into place. And you can see when people do it too. You can actually see the snap. If you just change the height, you'll see it kind of glide into kind of a fluid motion. All right, now there's another button you need to be aware of here, and that is if you're having like a room scale experience, right? For some reason, every time you walk out past that main menu wheel right there, like you walk out past it and leave it behind you, whenever that happens, that's when people ask you to open your main menu, and you're like, where is this thing? And you start looking around for it, right? You're like, man, this is getting old. This is like the third time today. And it's always behind you. And you're like, oh, there it is. And you walk into place. And that can get pretty annoying. It's important to know that on the Quest, your main menu is in your hand at all times. On your left controller, there's this flat button down toward the bottom here. And when you press on that, your main menu is going to open up in front of you. I'll be honest with you. I haven't touched that blue and white triangle in months, right? All I do when I need to open my main menu is I press that flat button on my left controller, and I kind of flick my hand out like that when I do it. Just like that, my menu open. And now I do it again. Just like that, my menu's closed. You don't have to do the hand flick. I just think it's kind of cool. Feels good. Feel free to do that too. I just open and close my menu a bunch of times. All right, now what else do you have here? Also, you have this left trigger button. This is kind of important to be aware of here. Now, what this is going to do is this is going to speed you up when you move, right? So if you press down on that while you're flying or when you're walking around, it's going to make you go fast, right? If everybody wants to join me, I'm going to come down in the audience here, right? Start doing a circle. Maybe we can make a hurricane. Maybe we can make a tornado. Let's see. All right, kind of get a nice circular formation going here. Get it as big as you can. If this is making you dizzy, well, don't do that thing. Let's see how you did. Let's see. Let's check it out. That's not really a circle, people. This is more of a, how do I describe this? It's not a figure eight. It's kind of, you know what? It's just unorganized. You need to work on this. There's there's no choreography here. Just not working. I'm disappointed, audience. The small group, I thought we'd have like a perfect circle going, but not at all. Okay. All right, we're gonna have to work on that. All right, so let's see what else we have here. We have also to keep in mind here that, listen, while these are a lot of buttons, it's important to know that some of these buttons do the same thing. All right, like this, you have your select button here, your right trigger here, and if you have your left pointer enabled through your main menu, you've got this select button here. These three buttons, they all do the same thing. If you hold down on that right trigger button and you move your hand through the audience, that's how I know everybody's name so quickly. That's how I know that that's Jax right there, and that's Hierophant Purple, and Sean Connery. All the people's names there. That's pretty cool to know. And that's like three buttons that I don't really have to worry about. Let's see. You also have this, let's see. Oh, yeah. The teleport button here. On the right and left controller, you've got the teleport button in both hands, right? I'm hoping you're in a line dash teleport, because what you can do is everybody joins me up along this wall here. What you can do is when you hold down the teleport button, like say in your right controller, you hold down the teleport button and aim it at the floor, you're going to see a white circle or a bluer circle appear. That's your teleport target. And you can aim it across the room at that other wall. And as soon as you let go, boom, you get thrown right across the room, just like that. Everybody teleport on over to me. right? And then we'll press down our left teleport button and we'll aim it at the floor across the room. And as soon as we let go, boom, get thrown right across the room just like that. Now, what another thing we can do is we can aim both of them, hold down both teleport buttons at the same time, right? Make an X on the floor. And as soon as you let go, you'll zig and, oh, I just zigged. It's supposed to zigzag. Let's try that again. Try down, hold down 2, let go. Zig, zag. There we go. Did it. All right. Now, the cool thing that you can do is if you face the stage here and you start going backwards and hold down an accelerator on your left controller and start teleporting to the floor, this is the equivalent of the Altspace Moonwalk, which I'm hoping is not a copyright violation because that would be bad. Another thing you can do, which is pretty cool, I found this out a couple weeks ago. I was standing up here, like I was down in the audience, and the audience was around me, and I needed to get back up on the stage in a hurry, right? And I'm kind of on a reflex, because I didn't even know you can do this. I reached my hand like this over my head, and boom, I was thrown right back on the stage. You can teleport backwards. That's right. If you put your hand over your head like that and let go, boom, you just teleport backwards. Pretty neat. Let's see if anyone, oh, wow, people were doing it. That's awesome. Very cool. Now, when I first started playing with this stuff, right? Because listen, if you're new to the Quest and this seems like a lot, it only takes a few days to a week to get used to it. I was at the Universe once, and back then it was held in a really large world, right? And I went up to the edge, I was exploring when the event was over, and I'm looking around, and I'm at the edge of the world, and I went a little bit too far, and all of a sudden I started falling. And as I'm falling, right, I look over and I see there's this cliff there. And I held down on my teleport button, right? I reached out, I aimed at the cliff, and I locked onto it. And as soon as I let go of the teleport button, boom, I was thrown onto that cliff to safety before I could respawn. Because it's not like you can get hurt in Altspace, right? Yeah, and in that moment, I knew, like I was finally getting used to the controls, and you will too, right? There's going to come a point where, even though you'll always feel the plastic in your hands, there's going to come a point where these actually become your hands. Like where you're going to make these kind of gestures without even thinking. Like if I go, hey, everybody, look out that window right now. I don't think about how I'm pointing at all. I just do it. Right? And the way that I'm doing this is so you're aware is if you hold down your middle finger on your grip button, you'll see that I'm pointing, right? On both hands like that. Give everybody like a Brooklyn hello. Everybody go like this and give me some Brooklyn. That's how we say hello in Brooklyn. There you go. Yeah, very nice. You can put them together like this and make the Altspace logo and hold them up nice and high like that. Little Altspace love. Oh, that's cool. Now you can twist them around like this and make kind of a picture frame like this. I think it'd be cool if we could take screenshots like this. You just squeeze the trigger, finger to snap it. You're like, yeah, just like that, purple. There you go. You're doing good. Oh, you have a great audience. Going to remember this moment forever, right? Just like that. Now, if you're holding down your index finger and your grip button like this, what you can do is if you touch your thumb to the buttons without pushing down, you just touch either the thumbstick or the buttons on your controllers. Your thumbs will go down like this, and you kind of combine this, by alternating it from side to side in this dance move, which I'm told doesn't look as cool as I think it does. But you know what? I'm going to keep on doing it just like that, right? Yeah, I see other people doing it. See, that does look cool. I don't care what anyone said. Yeah, that looks cool. All right. So, this is basically, listen, if you see somebody in Altspace doing something you like one of the first questions, we had people come up to the stage and they were going like this, right? And it took me a minute to figure out because our event team's called Ravenhall Events, right? So a few of them were doing this, making like a bird with the hands, right? And I thought it was neat. So I started doing it back. And you know what? That's how you pick this stuff up. If you see somebody doing something you like, the best way to pick it up is to mirror them or to copy them. And then before you know it, these gestures will become automatic and you'll make these gestures without even thinking about it. You'll be here, talking around, hands around like this, and you won't be, even thinking about how you're doing stuff like that. You'll just do it. All right. So, oh yeah, see what hell does that? Looks really cool. Jax is deep in thought. She's considering this moment very carefully. Yeah, you. I see you. I see you seeing me. There we go. Right. Good. See, body language in Altspace is very powerful. You can say so much without actually saying a word. It's amazing. That just doesn't get old to me. All right. Now, there's another button you need to be aware of. All right. Now, let's say that, you turn your head in Altspace, right? And the whole world moves with you. Does this ever happen to anybody where you turn your head and the whole space goes with you? Like that, it can make you feel kind of sick when that happens. Yeah, I see a couple of people agreeing there. Or maybe you turn your head and you see that black void on the edge, right? On the left side, there's a black void over there and you're like, oh no, what's that? You turn to the other side and you see there's one over on the right. And then you look up, you look down, there's a black void all around the edge of the screen. And all your friends are frozen in space like this. And it looks like they're being very dramatic. And you're like, something's wrong. Something's gone horribly wrong. What do? Well, when something goes wrong like that, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to don't press the snap because if you disappear, I'm going to feel it, right? But if this flat button on your right control, you got to think of this as your eject button. This is like the best way out of Altspace. And when you press it, you're going to have an option to quit or resume. This is great if you're dancing around the universe, you're having a good time, right? And then you accidentally press that button. What's going to happen is you can press resume and you'll be brought right back into Altspace and it'll be like never left, okay? And, once you get back in there, you'll be like, okay, and you keep on dancing like, I hope nobody noticed that, right? But, so you keep on going. But it is good to press when things go wrong. So if that happens to you, like with that black void around all the edges or, you feel the whole world moving when you feel kind of sick, What you can do is if you press down on that button, you just press quit and you can restart the app. And this is going to take care of most of the problems that you're going to have in Altspace. But occasionally, something might go on where you press that flat button and it doesn't work. The device is frozen and you're like, Michael Forrest lied to me. He told me just to press that flat button to get out, and I'm pressing it, nothing's happening. Well, if your device is frozen like this, the best thing you can do is restart your device. Now, I used to take my device off my head to restart it. And this is like, I don't think this is great to do. I think it pays to know how to restart the device while it's on your head. Because like, one, if you're in a hurry, and also because like, well, be honest with you, sometimes that charge light, when it's plugged in, if it's not in a charge cycle, that won't light up. And if you're in a rush, those 20-something seconds it takes to restart your device, that can take forever, and you'll get to thinking that there's something wrong with your device. I did. I thought mine was broken. So I got in the habit of actually, restarting the device while it was still on my head. And the way to do this is if you take your index finger and you swipe it on the side of your headset, you're going to feel that raised up bump there, right? And you're going to, you feel that power button, right? So then you take your other index finger on your left hand and you actually squeeze them together, right? And it helps if you look down like you're deep in concentration, deep concentration pose, right? And you concentrate so hard, your avatar disappears after 4 seconds or so, and you plunge into the darkness. Then after about 10 seconds, you start wondering, why did Oculus make it take so long? It takes a really long time. 15 seconds go by, you start thinking about friends you haven't seen in a while, you wonder how they're doing, right? 20 seconds go by, you start thinking about life, the big questions, all that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, out of the darkness, the Oculus logo emerges like the bat signal, and it starts to pulse, right? And when it starts pulsing, you take your hands away, take your fingers away from the sides like that, and the device will start as normal. And then you restart the app, you come back in Altspace, and this is going to, not just Altspace, but most of the apps for the Oculus, any kind of problems that you have, most of the time, like a restart like this is going to solve it, right? But occasionally, if something more severe happens, like one time I came out of Altspace and I got this message that said, "Oh, Hummingbird, welcome to the stage." There you go. I don't think that was supposed to happen. Okay, but yeah, welcome. Yeah, okay, then, well, that kind of threw me. Thanks for that, Hummingbird. I appreciate your support. But yeah, what could happen is, well, I totally lost my place there. Give me a second here. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm just gone. It's just, wow, just left my head. All right. All right. Well, I guess we'll have to move on from that point, won't we? All right. So basically, yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay. So your power on. That's gonna take. Oh yeah. That's right. One time I was coming out of Altspace and when I got this message on my display that said Oculus room is closing. All right. And I know what to do. I was like, there was this blue button that said, okay, I've never seen it before. So I pressed the okay button, right? And I'm like, okay, I don't know what that is, but okay. And all of a sudden the screen just said loading. And I didn't know like what that meant, right? It just kept saying loading for 2 minutes. I knew something was wrong. So I restarted my headset, concentration pose. And what happened was after about 2 minutes, right? I was sitting there watching it loading again and restarting my device twice. I knew something was seriously wrong. So I asked Google about it. And Google said a lot of people are having this problem. The only thing that can solve it is a factory reset. And it pays to know that this is an option if something goes seriously wrong. But the thing of it is you have to understand that if you have any photographs stored on your device, you're going to lose it, right? If you're going to lose all your apps, you're going to have to reinstall all of your apps. The good news is you won't have to pay for them again, all right? But it's good to know that this is an option in case you don't have any other choice, right? It's going to put the device back the way it was that you got it, right? All right, now let's see what else we have. All right, now another thing that you keep in mind here is that let me see. Okay, yeah, all right. If you're here today and you're already familiar with the Guardian system, right? Because you did the tour, you danced with the robot, you played with that fun stuff, right? It was a good time. But it turns out you can use your Guardian system to your advantage in Altspace. And before I tell you about how, right, it pays to keep in mind. A lot of times in Altspace, you'll see somebody going around like this, they're walking along, right? And all of a sudden they go boom because they hit a wall, right? And you're like, oh no, hit a wall, right? You got to make an effort to take care of your device, make sure you don't injure yourself too, right? And the way you can do this is when you first, especially if you're new to VR, lead with your hands when you move around inside your play space, right? This way, when you come up to the edge of it there, you'll see that grid appear in front of you, right? And this grid can be used to your advantage. Like if you're new to VR and you get kind of dizzy and motion sickness, one thing you can do is you take a look at your hand and just focus on that hand for a moment until that dizziness passes. And when it passes, slowly take the hand away and then take in the world around you. That'll help a lot. But you can also use your Guardian system for this purpose too. So if you walk right up to the edge of your Guardian, right, and that grid appears in the air in front of you, right, you can still touch your thumbsticks. So what you can do is you can move your thumbsticks around, and by moving your thumbsticks around, what you can do is you can go up to this display here, right, or anything really, but let's use the display right now, and I can line this up with my real world wall. And now as I move away from it, I have a frame of reference to the real world, right? And let's say I walk too far, and oh no, I've fallen off the stage. I'm in the audience. What do I do? And let's say the audience gets all hostile, right? Everybody come at me and try to make me dizzy. Give me your worst, right? You stick your hands in my face. Just mess with me. Get it all out of your system. right, now you'll notice my sentences aren't breaking. I'm not having any problem talking. I'm not being thrown off at all because I can still see that display, right? You're blocking my vision pretty well, but that is a giant display. I can completely, totally see it. Oh, that's pretty good, but I can still see it out the left side there. Can totally see it. Nothing's being blocked. Completely comfortable, right? Another thing you can do is if you can maybe like have a table or a desk in your environment, you can maybe line it up with, say, the edge of the stage here. And what this does is this kind of anchors you to the real world. It makes you feel comfortable by having a frame of reference that you can, really kind of lock onto. And this can help you a lot with dizziness and stuff like that, right? Another thing that you can do is you can actually switch from a room scale experience to a stationary experience pretty effortlessly in Altspace. One of the things that you can do is like, let's say I'm up here and I'm like, you know what? I've hosted over 300 events and all. I'm tired. I'm worn down. I got to slow down. My enemies are finally catching up to me. I don't know what I'm going to do, right? What I can do is I can actually go up to the edge of my Guardian, right? And I can make sure I got enough room for my head to go through. I can, stick my hands out and go, okay, that's enough room. And I can stick my head through. Now, they're under experimental features. They have it so that you can just double tap your headset so the pass-through camera goes off, right? So I can just go, boom, tap, tap. And now I can see the world around me, right? The real world, so cold, real. And I can see I've got my coffee right here. I can take a sip of that. Like, that's good. Throw it down there, pick it up later. And I see I got a chair over there in the corner. So I go, oh, you know what? I'm going to go sit in that chair. I can do that. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to sit in this chair here. I'm going to press the blue button to say I want to have a stationary experience now, right? So press that blue button for a stationary experience. And you know what? Right? VR comes back into view. But not only does VR come back into view, but I find I'm still in Altspace. I never actually left. This works in the other direction too. One time I was moderating an event. And, and I felt like getting up and walking around. It's a, big deal for me. So I get up and I go to walk into my Guardian system. But occasionally the Quest can forget where a Guardian is because of changing light levels. And for one reason or another, can't resolve its position. And it asks you to redraw a boundary because they think, hey, that's not a big deal. But you know what? When there's only 2 minutes left in the event, it's a big deal, right? And I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to get back in. So I start painting my boundary out, right? And I'm like, oh no. Of all the times to moderate for an admin, Lauren, why did it have to be to that? And I don't know. And why is my place so big anyway? And then all of a sudden, as soon as that loop closes, the grid comes up, right? And I find not only am I still in VR, but I'm still in Altspace. I never left. All anybody saw was my avatar frozen like this. Now I always pause there, right? And one time, right, I actually lost my internet connection. I was back in a couple minutes, but it was kind of funny because everybody was staring up there, and I wasn't here. I was gone, right? And everybody's like looking up there, going, "He's so invested in the role. Look at him pause. It's so dramatic. It's just so into it, right?" And you can, so yeah, I told him it was pretty funny when I did, but yeah, it was very odd timing. All right, so another thing you can do with your Guardian system that's, pretty fun is if you go up to the edge of your Guardian system, right? And, when you stick your head through it, make sure you got enough room to pass, for the pass-through to go off, right? As soon as that pass-through goes off, try to do it very slow because there's a sweet spot. You're going to be able to see both realities at the same time. And what's cool about this is it's going to allow you to see Altspace avatars in your home environment. All right. And why is that cool? Because you get a real sense of the scale of the height of an avatar. Like avatars in Altspace are about 6 feet tall. It doesn't feel that way when you're in here, but when you see them standing in your living room, you're like, oh wow, that's a lot wider than I thought it would be. Like the heads are really wide and it's just like 6 feet tall and they're a lot bigger than you realize. But until you see them in your living room, it's fun to try and give that a shot. All right. Now, one of the great things about the Quest is it just works. And it doesn't mean it can't work better. There's a variety of accessories that can really help improve the experience. For example, the Quest has really great sound. There's no feedback on it. The sound is really rich and clear. So when when my earbuds arrived, the ones that hang down from the sides, I don't want to look like when I'm in VR, but I like when I got these things on, I look fancy, right? Because they're like earrings for your headset, right? So I put them on. I'm not expecting much because, the sound's great on the Quest, right? So I put these on and I head to the campfire. And I go, and did you guys know there's a breeze in the campfire? Nobody told me this. I went over to that railing area, right? And I'm listening to the water rush by. I'd never heard that before. I've been in Altspace for like a year and I had no idea this happened. It turns out there's a lot of like really rich ambient sound in Altspace that can make the experience so much more immersive. Can really make you feel like you're here, like, so much more. And it's really great. So I recommend trying that. There's also, listen, a lot of people say that the Quest is uncomfortable. When I first started using the Quest, I thought so too. I actually got a sore on my forehead from it, but Oculus doesn't advertise this enough. There's a breaking in period that happens. And a lot of times people will get something like a counterbalance weight or like, an external battery pack to shift the balance around on it, right? But then the breaking in period goes off and then they find it's out of balance again and they think the Quest is uncomfortable. And I actually know some people that have returned it because of this, right? The reality is there's like the oils in your face will eventually soften the insert that comes with the Quest. And, eventually the springs get kind of, broken in and it's just like sweet spot where eventually, right, you don't even feel it on your face anymore. right? In the same way that you don't use hands to become your hands, these just become your eyes, right? And if you find like after a couple weeks of use, you find that it's still uncomfortable, that's when you start messing around with accessories. Like the VR cover makes these inserts that make you feel like you got a face in a pillow. It's really nice. But and then counterweights and all that kind of stuff you can try. But let the headset get broken in first. It's very important. Okay. Also, you have these prescription inserts that protect your glasses and your headset because, listen, it's bad enough scratching the lenses on your headset, but also scratching your eyeglass lenses. That can get pretty expensive. And this is a great way to avoid that by having, if you wear glasses, having to put these prescription inserts really can help a lot. Also, speaking of protecting your headset, the box that the Quest came in is fantastic. But if you're going to be moving around a lot, this travel case is really great because, listen, if something happens to your headset, it's not like losing your toaster. Okay, if you hang out in Altspace a lot and you've made friends and relationships in here, when something happens to your headset, like maybe you left it on a table overnight, some sunlight got on it and damaged your lenses like that, you're going to feel this as an actual loss. I've seen it happen. So take good care of your equipment. It's important. If you'd like to try any of these products, you can find them by going to altvr.com, going up to where it says channels, and you'll see all these Altspace event channels, right? And among them, down toward the bottom of the list, you're going to see it says Ravenhall events, like it says up in a sound booth there, right? And what you can do there is when you click on that, you'll be taken to our event page. And on the left-hand side, we have links to all of these products. We also have a join Discord button if you want to reach out to us and ask us any questions. You want to talk to us, all that kind of stuff. You can find us there. Also in the upper right is the most important button on the internet, the subscribe button. When you press this, it's a great way to say thank you. It also lets Altspace know that you enjoy our content because we don't get paid to do this at all. And it always feels good when we see that number go up. And also, if you don't make it to that event page and you still want to find these products, as I said, we film these episodes for YouTube. So now in the description of every video on the bottom there, you'll find links to these products also. All right, so we put that in there to be more convenient for everybody. All right, now we are going to be taking your questions and your comments now. All right, so what I'm going to do is going to make it so that the raise hand button appears on your lower right, as if by magic. All right, you're going to notice that there it says raise hand, and it's in a circle on your lower right there. And you just press on that, you're going to get on my list, and I feel like a radio announcer when I calling your name, right? In the meantime, while we wait to fill up, if you're on Twitter, if you'd like to follow us, you can find us at _ Uncanny Valley. I know that looks like two underscores, but it actually is. It looks like one underscore, but it's actually two, is what I should say. All right, now we have, who do we have here? We have Hierophant Purple. What's going on? You're on the air. What's up?
Okay, so whenever you, like you said I have the Quest and I've had it for like the beginning of quarantine.
Yeah.
Like right after spring break, and I've only had to factory reset once so far. And I did not have any purchases, like games that cost money. But now I already bought like 2 games on it. And if something like that happens, and if I factory reset, will it still allow me to buy?
Well, the Oculus Store keeps track of all that, right? So you won't have to pay for them again. You will have to download them again, but they're not going to charge you twice for them, right? Because once you own it, you own it. All right, so there's a record of that in the Oculus Store. A lot of times they also have cross purchase available too. So like if you get the link cable and you hook it up to your PC, now your headset's basically like a Rift S, and now you have like options to access Rift content. But some of the things you bought on the Quest will also be available on that side, and you can try the Rift version of it. And you're like, wow, the graphics are so much more awesome with this. Like I did that with a program called Gravity Sketch, and I didn't have to pay for it again. It was just available to me. So I thought that was pretty cool that they have that. So, normally Oculus is pretty great about that stuff. Let's see, who else do we have? We have the Shaba. I don't know if I'm saying that right because it cuts off the name. So hopefully I'm not ruining it too much. Where are you? Let's see. Where are you? I don't see you. Anybody there? Oh, the Shabam Man. The Shabam Man. Okay, what's up? Indy Green.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So
what's up?
So I'm left-handed, but the pointer thing is on my right hand. How do I change that?
Yes, there are some accessibility options, but we can hook this up right now in Altspace. Let's try this. Press on your blue and white triangle button and go to the settings toggle in your lower right. Once there, right, let's see, take a look at, input, right? And you see where it says left cursor always on? Switch that to on, and now switch your right cursor always on to off. And then hit the close button in the lower right, and tell me, what do you see? That help? Oh, wait, you're muted again. I can't hear you anymore. Okay, let's see. Now you're back on the air. Try that. How'd that work out? More comfortable? Seeing a thumbs up? That's good? All right, awesome. All right, cool. I can't talk, so mute it. All right, that's fine. Tell you what, everybody, listen, if you have any more questions, we're going to take them at the Ravenhall Flight Academy, because at the end of our events, we teach everybody to fly. If you don't know how to, if you already know how to fly, you just want to hang out and come check it out, that's cool. What we're going to do now is we're going to press our big red shiny button, right? You may have noticed during the event, we've got this big red button over here. Right now, when we press this button, you're going to see a Ravenhall Talon hovercraft fly down the street, all right? Hey, Braden, what's going on? Haven't seen you in a while. How's it doing? But yeah, we're going to see a Ravenhall Talon hovercraft fly down the street. And it's going to go up over those trees, and it's going to land in the yard out there, right? And you'll have a chance to actually fly these ships if you want to at the Ravenhall Flight Academy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push this button here. Actually, if anybody wants to help me, right, you can. I'll turn off the stage blocker. Come on up here and help me press this button here, because sometimes it sticks. All right, ready? On three. 1, 2, 3. Push.
Ravenhall Talon aircraft en route to your position.
Look out the window and you'll see it go by. All right, and again, you'll have a chance to fly these ships here. All right, now I'm going to come on down. Yeah, let's catch it. I'm going to go out in the back there and have it come down there. Yeah, and listen, if you've learned anything here today, please share it with all those you come in contact with. So if you're at the campfire and somebody's stuck in the ground, right, you can just tell them to push down that left thumbstick. They'll pop up and they'll feel better, and you'll feel better because we help somebody. And that's kind of how we help keep this thing going, right? All right, so now it's landing here. It's going to pop out a portal. It's going to take us to Ravenhall Flight Academy. And,
Talon aircraft is now boarding outside for transport to the Ravenhall Flight Academy. Please exit the building and step into the blue light. Thank you.
All right, thanks for coming, everybody. You've been a great audience. See you next time.